PeachCAST, 미국에서의 어린 시절 대한국.
Hello, this is PeachCAST and I'm Michelle.
I'm Ian.
Today we're going to talk about what's the difference between growing up in Korea and growing up in America.
Yes. And if you're watching in another language, please hit the captions in the top right on your mobile devices and on the bottom right if you're on a laptop or computer.
Okay, so how was it like to grow up in America?
Growing up in America was good.
Okay.
It was not bad.
Uh-huh.
It's very different than growing up here. Just school and, living condition, very different. But overall, it was good, I was always a very international kid growing up, though, because
Oh, really? Oh.
just my mom wanted me to be very because the U.S. is so big, right? A lot of people don't get a lot of experiences or knowledge of outside of the country because it's so large.
Right.
So everyone's kind of like, I'm American and I love America and America, right? That's a very common situation.
Yeah.
And so my mom didn't want that for me.
Oh.
So she always kind of made me either try some new food from another place or watch some. I started watching before Korean dramas. I started watching Korean dramas. I actually was watching Japanese dramas.
Wow, okay.
So before that, yeah, at I don't know how old. I forgot how old I was. Very young.
Okay.
But just things like that.
Oh, so she wanted to grow you up as an international kid, but I guess
Yeah.
got too international.
Got too out of control.
Yeah, seems like it, right?
Yeah. The plant grew
okay.
too big, I
Oh, yeah. All right.
No, but I think she just wanted me to be very open to new things that maybe I wasn't used to and just go into something with an open mind, I guess. It's kind of cliche, but
Yeah, but I think that's very great because what I'm thinking of nowadays a lot is that life is all about attitudes, So if you're opened up and if you're opened up for another country or another culture, then you get to experience a lot more than people who are not, So I think my mom focused on raising me up as an international kid as well. So she taught me English when I was a kid, and I was so into other cultures, especially American culture, and I loved American pop songs, and overall like you, I started watching dramas or movies from other countries from very early ages as well, even though back then it was not that easy to watch those dramas, but yes. And I got to see a lot of, not a lot of, because there were not many foreigners back then. So when I saw some foreigners, then I was like, Mom, there's a foreigner.
it's like a rare spawn in a video game. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I really wanted to say hello to them. And I just approached them and then say hello. And then, I was like, I got so shy after that, but still was happy because I said hi to them. Yeah, so it was really fun overall, growing up as an international kid. But yeah, so
yeah.
And,
What were you gonna say?
And what about the your living environment? Did you grow up in an apartment like us, or did you grow up in a house? What kind of environment did you grow up in?
Yeah, I'm from Phoenix. So Phoenix is a very kind of spread out city. So instead of building up, they build out. So I would say probably 95% of people in Phoenix live in an actual house with front yard and backyard.
Okay.
So
95? Okay.
I mean, I'm guessing.
Okay.
But a very,
Yeah.
very high percentage.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, at least 80, probably. 80% of people live in some sort of house.
So there's no apartment like us back in Phoenix, right?
There is apartments, but they're just not super popular. That's all. Yeah.
Well, here, as you see, there are so many apartments, and most of people live in apartments. But why do you think Koreans live in apartments?
I don't know if this is true, but I do think Korea is a smaller country. And because of that, they want to save space. And so opposite of Phoenix, right? They build out. But I think maybe in Korea, there's not a lot of space. So instead of building out, they tend to build up is probably
Upward.
how I would see it. Probably.
Yeah, I think
Do you
that's...
have any different opinion maybe?
I think that's a part of regions. And also, I think Korea got developed in very short time. From 60s or 70s. So it only took 30 or 40, even 50 years like to grow up like this, Korea itself. So we needed like everything so effective and efficient. And I think apartment type of living is like the top of this efficient living, you know? Because like it has everything and it has a community and it, you know, like we build everything around apartments. So there are like neat rows around there, and elementary school, middle school, high school are around there. Mart is around there, like hospitals, 학원s, academies, like gyms, everything. Everything is near apartments. So if you don't live in an apartment, then you have to go through this inefficient and very uncomfortable lifestyle. So for Koreans, I guess like that was the only realistic option that we can get, you know, in this like fast developing society. So
Right.
yeah.
They just wanted it so they can walk to everywhere, basically. Is that what they want? Right? Kind of thing?
I think it's more of a pursuing efficient lifestyle. Because like if you live in suburban area with your own house, then you need to drive all the way. And you need like double or triple times. You need to spend double or triple times than like other people, you know. And you know, like you know, Korean traffic jam is the worst. So yeah, so probably I think that's one of those reasons. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, my high school when I was growing up, I actually lived close to my high school. I was maybe 8-minute drive, 6-minute drive.
Okay.
But so I was in like a group of 4, my friend group. My friends lived like 30 minutes away from school by car.
Really?
Yeah.
Very far.
Very far.
Okay.
So like every day they drive there and back 30 minutes.
They themselves drove to
Well,
school?
yeah.
Wow,
Well,
okay.
after age 16.
Okay,
'Cause that's when
okay.
you start driving in the
okay.
US. So yeah, both of them, yeah. But there was one time my friend, he didn't have a car for a while, and what happened? He was late for. Oh no, he does carpool. Do you know carpool?
Carpool.
Carpool
yes.
is when you like go together. And he missed his like carpool window. And so his mom's like, he's like, Mom, can you please give me a ride to school? I'm going to be late. And she's like, oh, that's not my fault. You missed your carpool window.
Okay.
So he took a bus from his house to school. And if you don't know, but the Phoenix bus system is like the worst.
Really?
So he got to school at like maybe 1 o'clock. It took like 3
Really?
hours for him to get to school. Yeah.
Wow,
Because it's so
okay.
far away and the bus system is like really not good.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Because it's so far away.
Yeah. In Korea, that never happens.
Right,
You
I
know,
know.
if you walk, it's only within 30-minute walk. So,
Yeah.
okay. Oh.
Which I think is super convenient. I do like it. So it is an interesting contrast of like, you know, style of living, I guess. For sure.
Yeah, right. And I guess like Korea is like a whole village, you know, like the whole country is like a whole village. So everyone is kind of carrying other people. So when you live in an apartment, it's kind of like really easy to say or explain like of your like level of living, you know, let's say
Like
if-
your class.
like I wouldn't say class, but let's say if I live in a, I don't know, let's say
Slums?
Samsung apartment.
Oh, okay.
Then like okay,
Samsung has apartments?
yes, it's called Lemyeondo. Like it's not called Samsung apartment, but they made another brand for apartment.
Gotcha.
But there's like Samsung apartment, anyways. So Let's say if I say I live in Lemian, but there are, I guess, thousands of Lemians in Korea, you know? So because they build, like big companies build big apartments as well. And let's say I live in LG apartment. LG has an apartment brand as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So there are thousands of LG apartments in Korea. So if I say, oh, I live in LG apartment, then that means like, oh, I live at least like mid-class like lifestyle, you know? So it's very easy to explain everything, you know, because like Koreans, it sometimes gets personal though. Like we just ask like randomly, like, oh, where do you live? Like without any like intention to intrude someone's privacy. We just ask, right? Because we're curious, you know, like how old are you? So where do you live? Then if I say, oh, I live in Samsung apartment, then okay. Oh, so you're living a good life, you know, something like that.
So you guys don't say like, if for example, like you wouldn't say like, oh, where do you live? You wouldn't say like, oh, I live in place. For example, like we're in Jeonju, right? In Jeonju, there's like, let's say you live in Hanokmar, right? You wouldn't say like, oh, I live in Hanokmar. You wouldn't say that?
We would say that.
Yeah.
But if we get like more close, like closer, then we would say like Hanokmar, like certain apartment. We wouldn't say like which building we live
Like
in.
right off the bat?
No.
I was like,
no.
seems very quick.
Yeah,
personal.
yeah, no. Yeah, we usually say like, oh, we live in this area, like you said, like
Right.
Hanok Village. But if we get closer, then, oh, where do you live? Then, oh, I live in this apartment in Hanok Village. Yeah, so.
I mean, in the US, there's that thing too, because each, like, for example, in a city, there's like certain districts, right? So, for example, at my high school, if, you know, certain districts have certain vibes to them. So, for example, there's like, in Phoenix, if you said Glendale, it'd be like, ooh, kind of like not so good.
Okay,
right?
okay.
But like, if you
it's
said,
like slums.
just like, not slums, but like
Okay.
some parts are just not super like nice. Kind of like a little dirty. Maybe.
I get it.
Yeah. But if you said like, oh, I'm in Paradise Valley, people would be like, oh, Paradise Valley. So kind of has like a stereotype. Each place has like its own stereotype. So that's kind of similar with that too. So like, so people always said like Scottsdale or Paradise Valley, and that meant like, you know, probably upper, middle, upper class, upper class.
Okay.
Yeah. And the house they live in, or you can see too.
Yeah. I think for that, I think we live in Jeonju, but for Seoul, it gets more serious on that term. So when you say, oh, I live in Gangnam, Gangnam is considered to be a very rich place. So, oh, somebody says like, oh, I live in Gangnam, then he or she is considered, oh, he's rich or she's rich. So, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, but living in a house was it was not bad. I enjoyed it quite a bit because you have like the main part I like about a house is you have this like front yard and backyard aspect, which kind of gives a sense of like kind of like this space is mine, and you can go outside and just do whatever in that space. Which is cool.
What did you do usually?
Well, for example, in the backyard, my dad would grill stuff on the grill. And then we eat, like we had like a patio in the backyard with like a table and you could sit outside and eat and that sort of thing. Or in the front yard, I'd play soccer with my dad or, you know, sit out on we call it like the porch, where it's like just in front of the house. We call it the porch. So sit there, chill, hang out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys like enjoy your family time usually in the front yard and in the backyard.
Yeah.
Oh,
And also Christmas time is a very important time for the houses because everyone has like their Christmas lights.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Halloween too.
Yeah. Halloween if you have a kid. If you don't have, well, it's like if you like kids, then
Okay.
yes. If
Oh.
you don't like kids, you don't decorate your house.
really?
Because the kids, because they walk around, right, trick or treat.
Right.
And they look at the house, like if it's very decorated, they're like, oh, this person has candy. If it's like lights off, curtains down, just don't knock, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So that's kind of sign.
Yeah, it's like to say
you
like,
can
hey,
come
we're
on.
not doing it.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
very easy though. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my parents did it for a while, but now that I'm gone, they don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
just like, 귀찮아.
귀찮아. So annoying, right?
Well, not necessarily annoying, but just like it's too
Bothering?
much.
Too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
Too
it's
much.
too much to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, it seems interesting because I lived in an apartment in my whole life. So we don't decorate our house, at least outside, for Christmas season or Halloween season. We just decorate inside. Like we put Christmas tree inside our apartment. And for Halloween, I guess like Korean people are partying in hot places, you know, or like kids enjoy Halloween in their hagwons academies or schools, but not anymore. Not to like knock on neighbors' doors. So yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen? This is completely random, but have you seen the video of like the Hongdae guy, the Korean Hongdae guy?
No.
They call it like Hongdae oppa. Have you seen that?
No.
It's like it's like
Oh, but it sounds fun.
it's like kind of referring to like when you're talking about like people go to these areas to party, right? There's this like stereotype on Instagram these days called Hongdae oppa, and it's like the Korean guy who kind of speaks English,
Okay.
and wants to like hang out with the foreign girls, right? And it's like
That's called 홍대 오빠?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because in Hongdae, I guess that like kind of like a stereotype of like the Korean guy looking for like some sort of foreign girl.
Yeah,
So anyway, that made me
right.
think of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a trend these days a
Yeah,
little bit.
right. Oh, okay. I should look for it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's actually pretty funny.
Okay.
He's like, they'll be like, you know, he does like the Korean like English accent. So he'll be like, yeah, so where do you think's a good place to hang out in Seoul? He's like, I like the Hongdae. Like that. So that's sort of just kind of like making fun of it.
Okay.
So it's funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's
good.
kind of like a trendy thing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, like, was there anything special, or do you think like, oh, this is so different, growing up in America and growing up in Korea? Like, was there anything like that?
I mean, I haven't grown up in Korea, so I'm not necessarily sure what would be like really different between, you know, growing up in Korea versus growing up in the US.
Yeah.
I do know, like, how was your neighbor aspect in Korea? Were you guys ever
Neighbor
close with your neighbors?
Well, normally we're not because we live in an apartment and this apartment is so isolated. So if you decide not to say hello to your neighbors or not to see any neighbors, then you can. Because you can always like take, I don't know, like go to your work or go to school without seeing your neighbors because you don't know their schedule, right? And if you don't decide to say hello on your like anniversaries or wherever, like whatever happens, then you know you can't do that. So normally we're not close to neighbors, but I guess it depends on situations and it depends on people. Let's say if you decide to say hello every time you see your neighbors, or if you get to know your neighbors like in community center, then you get close, like very close, because you guys know each other, that your lifestyle is about similar, or your economic status are similar as well, because like the fact that you're living in the same apartment shows that like you can handle like those lifestyles, you know. So if you decide to be close with your neighbors, then you can. But if you don't want, like normally like Korean people are so busy working and stuff, or carrying their kids or carrying themselves or whatever. So we are not that close normally, but if you decide to be close, then you can get really close.
Interesting.
What about America? Like, what about your...
In my experience, I was pretty close with my neighbors. Well, at least a couple of them. Some were kind of like a bit odd, but there was a couple neighbors that I was pretty close with. So like, for example, we lived in a house, and across the street there was another house, and there was two boys that were like maybe 2 years, 2 years older than me. And so when I was 8, 9, or 10, I'd just go over to their house, or they'd come over to my house, and we just kind of like hang out, right?
Okay.
That sort of thing. And partially it's because like, I think maybe because there's like no elevator maybe. So like, let's say for example, you go to work, right? You have to go outside into your car, drive out.
Right.
And then like, usually sometimes they're outside on their porch doing something, and, people are usually pretty friendly in America. So you just wave hello, and then probably over time it just gets a little bit more friendly. So yeah, I had pretty good relationship with my most of my neighbors growing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we had these things called like neighborhood block parties, where like people in your neighborhood that you're friends with, you invite them to your house. It's called like a block party, because the block is like, the block refers to like the square within the streets.
Okay.
So yeah, it's called the block party, where you like invite like neighbors over to your place to hang out.
So how many houses does one block contain?
Maybe like 60?
60? Really? 60 houses?
No, 45.
45. Wow,
Or roughly,
Wow.
yeah.
So among those 45 houses, like usually how many houses like do you get close enough to get block party with?
Maybe like 10.
10. Oh,
Yeah, 10 to
really?
15.
Then how often does that happen?
Maybe twice a year, maybe.
Wow,
Once or twice a year.
Once or twice. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
not very often.
Then it's a potluck party or
Oh, it's just whatever you want.
whatever
Yeah,
you want.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or for example, like in my neighborhood during Christmas, we did this thing for 3 nights before Christmas. We'd have these, because in America there's these streets, right? And then the houses are like this. So on the sidewalks, we'd put these like candles for Christmas, and so basically our street had to participate in doing that. So that was another way we always like met our neighbors with that sort of thing.
Okay.
So,
that's
yeah.
great. Oh, okay. I think here neighborhoods friendship can be really tricky. So like I said, if you really want to have a good relationship with your neighbors, then you can. But normally that doesn't happen.
They just don't want to do it.
Yeah, or too tired to do it, or too bothering to do it, because like we said, you can just like jump to your car right away from your door to elevator and to your car, and from your car to elevator to your room. Like it's so convenient and easy. So you don't dare to walk around or say hello to your neighbors, unless you meet them accidentally, So it can be tricky. Yes.
Which I think has, some good things and maybe some bad things too.
Yeah.
overall.
But I know and I heard that my aunt lives in one of those like good apartments brand, and she goes to this sauna like every night. And she met this group of middle-aged women, and she got very close with this women in sauna. And one of those members, friend's daughter became my aunt's daughter-in-law.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it happens. It happens. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap it up today. And if you have your experience of living or growing up in America or Korea or even in other countries, just share with us. And
Yeah.
and subscribe, please, and leave comments and likes. And